It is 6 months to go until Uganda's presidential election, and campaign rallies have been banned because of the coronavirus pandemic. The Electoral Commission has urged candidates to use media instead to get their message to voters. But the opposition says they don't have fair access to the country's broadcasters. In a moment, I'll be talking to the man who's emerged as the strongest presidential aspirant. But first, this report on the country's first virtual campaign.
Betty Nachiaga relies on the radio for information about Uganda's elections due in February next year. She loves political rallies, but she won't attend any this time. Uganda's electoral body has banned them to stop the spread of the coronavirus.
I like it when a candidate talks to me directly, and I can also ask what I want. Entirely depending on the radio is going to be hard.
On top of print, candidates now have to mainly campaign via the radio, television, and the internet.
We are in the third stage of community transmissions. It means that we need to be more alert and find ways of accepting the new normal and adjusting from the conventional ways of campaigning.
But stopping candidates from physically campaigning for votes has not gone down well with the opposition. They instead accuse President Yoweri Museveni of using the pandemic to manipulate the electoral process.
This is simply outrageous that anybody could consider that an election held in such an environment, limited to media, can be even most remotely considered to be an election that is free or fair. Right from conception to the end, this is about Museveni.
But the government maintains that it is public health first.
We are all aware that COVID-19 is here in Uganda, and we are also mandated to make sure that Ugandans are given information and they are protected in one way or another. So it would be very unfortunate for anyone to believe that government is taking advantage of the situation.
But even media campaigning will be difficult. Demand for airtime could overwhelm local stations and the country's online network. More than 2,000 candidates are vying for elective public offices, from village level to the presidency, all at the same time.
Even if you committed all the airtime on the 292 radio stations for a period of 3 months or so, still you would not be able to meet the demand. So where are people going to campaign from? Even if you decided to say, okay, fine, some will use radios, others will use other social media platforms. The internet penetration in Uganda doesn't exceed 50%.
For voters like Nachiaga, that could mean not getting information from some candidates. And for the politicians whose message won't reach her, that could cost them her vote.
And I'm now joined by Robert Kyagulanyi, better known as Bobi Wine. He is a member of the Ugandan Parliament and is running for president in next year's election. Welcome to DW News Africa, sir. Do you think not being able to hold rallies is going to affect your campaign?
Sure, it's actually not only the inability to hold rallies, but we cannot meet, we cannot go on radio stations. The last time I was supposed to go on a radio station, the military surrounded the radio station, beat up people and started arresting and harassing them. In Uganda, while the regime, the Minister of Health and other people from the ruling party are going around holding mass rallies and mass processions, the people, the members of the opposition, particularly those from the People Power Movement, which is having the National Unity Platform as a political wing, are completely not allowed to express themselves, to meet people, or to have any kind of political engagement. That is the situation in Uganda, although the people of Uganda are fighting back.
You've had about 2 years to make your case to the people of Uganda. Why would Ugandans suddenly forget you because they've not seen you at a rally?
As a matter of fact, for the last 2 years, we have been completely blocked from reaching the people. I used to communicate to the people of Uganda through my music, but today my music is abolished. My music was abolished 2 years ago, and all my songs are banned from playing on radio stations, and my voice completely banned from radio stations. We had hoped to use the campaign period to communicate to the people of Uganda and reach out to them, because the government in Uganda was always claiming that it was not campaign time. And now that it's campaign time, President Museveni is trying to use or manipulate the COVID-19 situation in Uganda to stop us from reaching the people of Uganda. Of course, it's going to affect us greatly, because the people of Uganda need to make an informed decision. Unfortunately, while President Museveni has been moving around the country campaigning, he has blocked us from reaching out to the people of Uganda. And now that it is campaign time, still he does not allow anybody from the opposition to reach out to the people of Uganda. I must say, like I said before, that the Minister of Health, who signed the regulations blocking gatherings, is going around holding rallies and holding processions. Recently, the Minister of Justice and Constitutional Affairs was also having a big rally and later on a procession. And even the Vice President of Uganda held a rally very recently. So this has been the way the NRM regime, which is in the party in government in Uganda, has been misusing the COVID-19 situation to gag and curtail our freedoms of expression and, interaction.
Mr. Kyagulanyi, let's talk about the election itself. Your country, Uganda, has had the same president for nearly 3 decades now. Wouldn't the opposition in the country...
For more than 3 decades.
Fair enough. Wouldn't the opposition stand a better chance if it were united? You've not been able to form alliances with other opposition members. Isn't that self-defeating?
Well, I must say, yes, unity is a solution against any dictatorship. And we have examples in the recent past, and the most recent being the election in Malawi that was massively won by the opposition because they came together. But again, I must be quick to say that the opposition does not only mean the politicians, but it means the people that are opposed to the dictatorship in Uganda. I and my team have spent the last 2 years talking to all the political players, all the political groupings in Uganda, so that we can come together. Unfortunately, there has been a lot of interests that we have not been able to agree. That being said, I know that the people of Uganda are way ahead of us. I am convinced that the people of Uganda are already united. They've been telling us while I lead the People Power Movement, and it's for the sake of the election that I, together with my team, had to create the political wing of the People Power Movement, and that is the National Unity Platform. We did this because we knew that we had to answer the cries of the people to unite. We established the National Unity Platform to unite all forces of change, but it had to come as a political party. And right now, as we speak...
Sorry, I must interrupt you there, because I do want to ask you this, right? What do you have to say to Ugandans who think that you've done a great job in using your voice to amplify the voices of others, especially young people in the country? But they argue that that doesn't necessarily make you presidential material.
Well, I'm not here because I'm presidential material. There are so many people who are presidential material. They are in their thousands, but they do not have a voice. I come here, I present myself as a glue. I present myself as a glue to put together all this resource. What we need right now is a leadership that will lead us through this dictatorship. Right now, as we speak, I know that I'm fully qualified to lead Uganda. But again, I know that it's not my qualifications alone. It's the qualifications of all the Ugandans that want change. I'm not doing it as a person, we are doing this as a team. But again, I must also say that I am presidential material. I'm well educated, I'm well researched and well traveled. But most importantly, if we are to compare with the president that has presided over our country for more than 34 years, he is not as educated as I am. He was not as credible as I am. And he was around my age when he came to power, when he took over the country.
Fair
I
enough,
want to
fair
believe
enough.
that I am as qualified as him or even more.
Fair enough. And I want to bring this conversation to you, Mr. Kyagulanyi, because what is it that you are offering Ugandans? Talk to us about some of your policy. Let's talk about next year's election. Assuming you get the job and you are president of Uganda, what is the first thing, for example, that you'll do as the president?
I, together with my team, want to put an end to a lawless leadership. We have 5 core principles that we are targeting. One is the rule of law and respect for human rights, which you don't have in Uganda. The laws exist. We have the most beautiful constitution, and we have amazing laws which we do not respect, which the government in Uganda does not respect. So we want to return the rule of law and the respect for human rights. As a common person, one of our biggest cries has been the health sector, because we lose so many people that we shouldn't be losing. More than 300 children a day and more than 19 women giving birth die in Uganda on a daily basis. We want to improve the health sector. We want to improve education. We want to improve agriculture, because that is the bedrock of our economy. We want to bring back the ownership of the natural resources and land of our country to the hands of the people. And most importantly, finally, we want to unite our deeply divided country, divided along ethnic, class, and religious and political lines. We want to unite our country and then project a better image of our country, because we as Ugandans, we are better than the way we are being represented, or rather misrepresented.
All right, that is Robert Kyagulanyi, better known as Bobi Wine, talking to us from Kampala, Uganda. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.